It's very important to understand what leadership looks like as a set of skills and behaviors. And the Mentori definition, the one that I use with my groups, my clients, is about influence. And that is, leadership is the ability to influence how people think and feel to the point that they take decisive and responsible action. And the reason for doing this is we want to have an operative skill set that we can use in helping people become more effective leaders. The problems that I've seen that exist is that this set of skills has become a massive laundry list. And I think what's most important is that people first understand what their job is and create a context for leadership so that we can then take this set of influence-related skills and superimpose it upon what people do. Now, when you think about a context, the context itself, people will often equate with the job description. And I often tell my clients, if you've got a written job description, I just rip it up. I don't know anybody in today's world that really says that what they do is simply what is written down in those descriptions. Nonetheless, the first piece of creating any context is to understand what the job is. And what the job is really consists of two important pieces. One is critical tasks, which we often talk about as roles and responsibilities. And the other are measures or metrics, how we would gauge success and what that role looks like. So if we thought about a bartender, for example, and you were hiring a good bartender and you said, okay, what does that job actually look like? We'd be going through a set of critical tasks like makes drinks and serve drinks and cleans the bar. And if we thought about metrics for that job, we'd think about profit per shift, customer satisfaction, in those two broad areas. But the what of the job doesn't really help us understand how the job gets done. And it's the how part that really becomes important because it begins to define the skills, both basic skills and critical behaviors or competencies, those characteristics of what the best do. So if we define the job in the context broader than the what, we also need to include the how. And this becomes important for leadership, and we'll soon see how these two relate, what the job is, how the job is done. The third piece is the piece that I see most often missing in creating a context, and that is the who. Who do you need to be spending time with to be most impactful in your leadership capacity? Now, I should say that every job has leadership responsibilities. I know that some people would debate me on that, but if we're defining it as a set of skills that's influence related, everyone needs that skill set in the way in which work is done, not just in our country, but across the world. So that once we define what and how, and then define who are most critical people, it helps give flesh to what leadership needs to look like. In the bartender example, we could say that the how has to do with a set of basic skills all around how to serve drinks, how to mix drinks. But then when we look at those other characteristics or behaviors, which have to do with mixes a great drink, knows your customers, has a good memory, entertaining, those skills, or I should say those behaviors, are what's most critical in defining success for that position. If we get more of that understanding of those critical competencies, we should see better results. Leadership is no different. We need to understand first what the jobs are, to then determine how those jobs get done most effectively, and those then become the leadership skill set. And then the third piece of that is who are the key people with whom you interface so that the job is done effectively.